One note is tough. As long as you're at like 2 notes, 3 notes. The difference, the whole discussion about sampling, you got two areas, and I use them interchangeably. One is sampling when you're actually sampling something off a record or another CD. Then you could sample literally 1 second or 1 note, but it's definite that the sample occurred. So a songwriter or a music publisher can claim, look, you've sampled from the recording, our song is on the recording, and therefore it's prima facie evidence that a sample has occurred. The other portion of sampling is when the sampling artist or producer just really stays away from the prior master and just goes for the song itself. To take Jay-Z, he sampled Paul Anka's My Way. A lot of hip-hop artists sample Blondie's Rapture. We control the catalog for Roy Ayers. Now, one of the reasons we signed Roy Ayers, in addition to really thinking he was just a great talent and had a continuing career, which he does, is that we knew his catalog was sampled, because hip-hop artists respect Roy Ayers as they respect certain other artists. That's a consideration for signing a deal sometimes. Even if that wasn't the case, we still would have signed Roy Ayers and bought a portion of his catalog. But sampling has opened up a whole new income source. Our position is that if you take even a small amount, there is no 4 notes or 3 notes, etc. A sample is a sample. And 3 notes can be easily recognizable, and we consider it a sample. Now, negotiating a sample is a whole different thing. There are no hard and fast rules on samples. There are some publishers, if you take 4 seconds of one of their songs, they'll take the entire new composition. Not saying that's fair or not fair, but that's reality. Other publishers, most publishers are like Chrysalis. What we'll do is we'll ask for a copy of the CD. When the request comes in, we'll always ask for a copy. We'll sit down with the creative department and we'll just kind of listen to it and get a feel for how important the sample is to the new composition. Now, if they took the hook, I guarantee you, we're going to take a larger piece of the new composition than if they just took a little throwaway portion of a song. I mean, writers will love me to. There's no throwaway portion to a song. Come on, Jeff. But no, you see what I'm getting at. It's all a gut reaction. You don't go by the number of seconds, though that be included in the calculation. But it's just kind of a feel as to how important the sample is to the new song, how much they took of it, and does it move the new song along. A lot of times it's the underbed of a song. If it's the underbed that goes through a whole song, we've got a legitimate case to take 50% to 75%. It's an interesting area. It's an area which we negotiate a lot of deals. We've been fortunate, as a lot of publishers have been fortunate, for hip hop artists to sample our compositions. The way I look at it is, there's a Blondie song or a Roy Ayers song or a Paul Anka song that in their original version is not right for the hip-hop market. It's like a dance remix. But with a sample, all of a sudden it takes that song, opens it up to a whole new audience. People will start recognizing some of the rock and roll standards, or standards like Paul Anka's catalog, or pure standards like most of the stuff in the 40s and 50s. And it opens up a whole new genre, a whole new area of exploitation. Obviously, because of hip-hop being so popular, there are ad agencies out there that like to have hip-hop songs in their commercials. And every once in a while, you see a hip-hop song that samples something else, and all of a sudden, the writers of the sampled song are participating in the $250,000, $500,000 fee, $1 million fee that the agency paid to use the song and the master for the commercial. So sampling's been a boon for music publishers. A lot of our time is spent, going around and sending cease and desist letters to websites who are sampling our songs without permission. But sampling has been a positive as opposed to a negative. And I make no judgment towards sampling. I mean, certain writer artists like the sample, others don't sample. I think a lot of the samples are very, very interesting the way you use it. I mean, Jay-Z did a great job with My Way. You really got to hand it to him. And because he came to us before the record was out, and he came to us for permission, we worked out a really fair deal, which he was happy with and we were happy with. He got the right to use what he wanted, and he made a brand new song, which was great. Which, by the way, Paul Anka really liked. Normally in these sample situations, we do many times go to the songwriter, because some of the sample situations, certain hip hop lyrics are maybe not the type of lyric or have the type of message that the original writer whose song is sampled may want to be involved with. So that's another whole tricky thing. That's why when you get these sample requests, you've got to look at the lyrics, you've got to listen to the whole context of the song. You know, timing is one thing as we talk, but there's a whole area of the content of the new song which is important. And as a publisher, we're interested in exploiting our songs, but not ruining them or putting them in situations that might conflict with the original writer's intent. And we've had situations where the original writer has said no. You know, I do not like the message in that song, and I don't care what they pay me. I don't care if we take 100% of the copyright. The answer is no. And so that's happened also. So but it's an interesting area. It's a good area to deal with. It's an area that if someone wants to be a part of the music industry, this is going to stay around for years. That could be a good area for young kids to get involved in, especially young people who really know their music and can really look at songs and figure out whether a particular composition has sampled something else or is it just similar. So if you want to be a musicologist, that's cool also.